Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Meyer Demo Kitchen. I'm here today to talk a little bit about beef. My name is Chef Irwin McKinnon. I'm the chef of Papa Joe's Restaurant, and we have some exceptional quality beef here from Atlantic Beef Products. Specifically, we have the flank steak. Flank steak is something that can be overlooked sometimes. A lot of people don't use it at home. It's more of a restaurant cut, but you can prepare it at home quite easily. It comes from the kind of the belly part of the beef, the steer, towards the back hind, and it's a beautiful cut of beef. What's very unique about it is it has a very distinct grain. It runs east-west or north-south, whatever way you lay it on your counter, I guess, and that helps in the tenderization as well. The flank steak, if not properly prepared, can be very kind of tough, but if it's cooked properly, it's nice and juicy. It's very versatile. You can use it in tacos. You can use it in any applications. Today we're kind of going with a little bit of an Asian style. The flank steak comes to you pretty much trimmed and ready. Sometimes there's a little bit of a silver skin at one end that you might want to trim off, but other than that, it's as clean as it is right here, as you can see right now. So that's the beef. What else is going with the beef today? It's pineapple. Pineapple has a unique enzyme in it, bromelain. It's a natural occurring enzyme that helps to break down meat protein. Me as a chef, I don't typically or traditionally like to marinate meat. I like to leave the integrity there so that it's all natural as much as it can be. But for today's demonstration and application, I did want to try a little science experiment. So I've taken some pineapple, which has that natural occurring enzyme in it that helps to break down the tendons and the fibers in the meat, and I marinated it. So the recipe that you can find is on canadasfoodisland.ca. There's going to be a recipe for the beef and as well for the slaw that we'll talk about a little later on. So what I have here is I've got the pineapple that's been trimmed. I put in some Chinese five spice, a little bit of chilies, some garlic, some ginger, and of course the pineapple. Put it in your food processor, puree it up until it's a nice puree, right? And then you put it in a Ziploc bag, and you want to make sure that the meat gets massaged nicely. So we're going to fire up the stoves here. Going to be cooking with just a little bit of canola oil. You want an oil that has a fairly high smoke point. You don't want to start with butter or anything like that because it'll burn too much. But this is just a natural, pure canola oil, no additives. You could use olive oil, that would be fine as well. So just put a little bit in the pan, get the pan warmed up. Speaking of warming up, that's another thing that you should always do with your beef before you grill or barbecue or cook your beef, is have it out and temper it at room temperature. Like a good half hour, 45 minutes is quite fine just on your counter, just to warm up the meat so that it cooks a little bit more evenly, a little quicker, and a little nicer. And it's not doing any harm to yourself or the meat. So the marinade that's on here, after I took it out of the bag, I just kind of took a rubber spatula and took the excess off. I also suggest that you take a little bit of paper towel and just pat the meat, try to get it as dry as you can to get all that marinade off. There will be a little bit extra coloration going on the meat now because it has been marinated. Of course, pineapple has some natural occurring sugars in there too, so it will get a little darker. You can use your grill as well at home. If you want to barbecue this, it's beautiful. So there we have it. The pan's not quite hot enough yet, but we'll wait for that. You want to preheat your pan, get it nice and warm. It's almost there. You want to make sure the beef is in the pan and that there's a bit of a sizzle. You want to create that seal, that crust on the outside, the caramelization. Adds a lot of flavor to the beef and helps to seal in the juices as well. The beef takes about, depending on your likeness, but in this application we want to cook it not much more than a medium rare is best. Again, with flank steak, that is a nice way to present it for it to be nice and tender. There are other applications you can do with the flank steak if you want to cook it more well done. At home, I've split it, butterflied it, opened it up, put some flavorings in it, rolled it up and tied it and braised it, and it turns out beautiful. There, put the beef in the pan. And start to sizzle. So while the beef is getting cooked up there, we'll talk a little bit about the Asian slaw that I have here. So what I have here is just some household vegetables. I've got carrot, turnip, or rutabaga. I've got some purple cabbage, some green cabbage. In addition to that, I have some pickled pink ginger. I have some pickled red onions that we do in-house. I have some fresh green scallions in there. And then I put some of our own house-made sesame dressing. The recipe, again, is going to be provided on the Canada's Food Island website, so you can look it up there anytime. Just dress the slaw a little bit, and then later on we're going to garnish it with a little bit toasted sesame seeds, right? We'll get ready for this show plate here in a second. And we got a few pea shoots over here. Add some nice little fresh crispness to it. Crispness, not Christmas. Sprinkle on some of those toasted sesames. We're at the mercy of the frying pan here right now. It's getting hot, but it's gonna work. Anybody have any questions about the flank steak right now? No? Has anyone had flank steak before? Yeah? That's good. That's good. Carol has, of course. Carol's here with us from Atlantic Beef. Provided us with this beautiful meat today. So the marinade, it's in the recipe. Like I said, I recommend about 12 hours at minimum for it to do its work. Did I lose my... Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, 12 hours is what I would recommend, so that's overnight kind of thing. A little longer is not doing too much harm, but don't leave it in there for over a day. Yeah, we're starting to cook now. We're turn. And also, another important thing to do when you're cooking beef, something that I find a lot of people overlook or forget, is to make sure you let your meat rest, right? You take something hot right out of the pan or hot right out of the oven, and you put it on the counter and carve into it really right away. You're doing it a very injustice. Because the meat is being seared and under a high temperature, all of the juices are kind of being forced and pushed into the center of the muscle. And the resting period, what that enables the meat to do is just kind of relax a little bit and let the juices come back out to the surface before you slice. If you were to take a beautifully cooked steak, put it on a cutting board and cut it in half right away, and took another beautiful cooked steak and set it on the cutting board and leave it for about 2-3 minutes, when you cut the two of them out, you would see the juices pool in your plate or on your cutting board, where the one that's been rested, there wouldn't be very much residual juice left coming out on the board because it's gone back into the beef, right? That's what you want to do. Smells good. Do you guys smell that? Yeah? Right on. Yeah, just another minute here. That's my fusion sauce. I can put it with pineapple now, I think. If you don't have any Ziploc bags at home, you can just put it in like an airtight container like that or whatever. As long as the marinade is all the way around the meat, you should be fine. To see how it's cooked, you know, you use your fingertip. Everybody know that trick with your finger? Okay, so you take your index finger and you put it towards your thumb muscle. Nice and soft. Everybody do it. That's one. See that? Soft. That's more rare side. Then when you take your pinky finger or the next one to it, see how much firmer that muscle is? That's more well done, medium well done, right? So when you're doing this to the meat, it's like you're cut, you know what I mean? Oh, looks good. This one here is a little more rare. This one here is a little bit more firm. Depends on the thickness of the muscle. I mean, every steer are, you know, close to the same, but there are some variations, of course, in how the muscle grows. So one might be an inch thick, one might be a little more like 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches. One last flip here. So that's another little tip for cooking beef. keep the heat in a little bit. But we're going to be eating this quite soon, so we're going to leave it like that. This next one, I'm going to have some coarse sea salt here. I'm just going to carve the meat nicely and then put a little bit of finished salt on there to really pop that flavor. I'm not usually a big fan of over salting or salting things in the beginning. I usually wait till things are cooked and do a little finished salt. Just really gives that pop of flavor. I'm going to put a little fusion sauce in your dishes. Give that meat another 60 seconds or so. Let's see, salad. So again, depending on how you like your beef cooked, like the flank steak, I said it's best if it's cooked a more medium to medium rare doneness. A little bit more tender. If you like your meat a little bit more done than that, I would recommend that you do a braise or something, a low and slow kind of cooking. So now when I go to carve the beef, again the grain is running like this. So I want to run like this. Against the grain is very important. I'm going to cut it kind of at a little bit of a 45-degree angle. Just it helps to present the beef a little bit nicer, and it helps to tenderize it as well, right? I have a sharp knife, but it's running through the meat just beautifully, right? Because it's been nicely marinated. Doneness is pretty bang on. My thumb muscle didn't lie. Sharp knives are a nice essential tool in the kitchen. So if you can get in there close with the cameras, as you can see, there's very little juice coming out onto the cutting board. It's all staying in the beef, which is very important. It's always a little bit, but not like it could be if it wasn't rested properly. Take this other piece out, let it rest a little bit. Okay, so now spread that out just a little bit more so I get some more surface area on there. And then we're going to go with the salt. Set it up for you.